as a continent has now defined ourselves.
Court upholds the registration of political parties. And in South Africa, Prince Mrs. Zulu named next Zulu King amid family feud. Dozens injured in Jerusalem clashes. Nowda to unveil cassava packaging plant, and in sports, Barcelona hosts leaders Atletico Madrid on the pivotal weekend as Real Madrid plays Sevilla. Details shortly. This is TS Television, the digital first Pan-African news network. I'm Zeh Itsesele, and this is TS News 360. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has upheld the 2020 action by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to deregister some political parties for not meeting the election umpires requirements during the 2019 general elections. In a judgment on Friday, the Supreme Court held, among others, that INEC acted in accordance with relevant provisions of the Constitution and the Electoral Act. The Supreme Court upheld an earlier judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which affirmed the earlier decision of the Federal High Court in Abuja on the issue. The federal government on Friday said it has concluded the processes to commence the prosecution of some Nigerians, including highly placed individuals, for terrorism financing. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, who disclosed this to journalists in the State House, said government had carried out extensive investigation on allegations of terrorism financing against some Nigerians, adding that substantial grounds had already been established against those accused. According to him, Nigeria commenced investigating and processing those suspected to be financiers of terror in the country after the conviction of some persons in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, adding that Nigeria had done a more elaborate investigation and had established the connection of many Nigerians to terror financing in the country. Program Officer Immunization Services FCT Primary Healthcare Board, Salome Tor, says the current COVID-19 vaccination exercise will end May 14, 2021. The officer addressed journalists on Friday in Abuja at a one-day media orientation workshop on COVID-19 vaccination in FCT. The media orientation workshop was aimed at encouraging more people to get vaccinated before the exercise closes and to charge media to help pass the information to the public. According to her, FCT received 248,400 doses of vaccine to immunize the FCT populace, and that a total of 96,559 have been successfully vaccinated as of May 6, 2021. The federal government said it has released 29.1 billion naira to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency for deployment of COVID-19 vaccines. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed disclosed this at the Collaborative Africa Budget Reform Initiative General Assembly webinar on Friday. The federal government, the minister said, will procure 29 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine through the AVAT initiative coordinated by Afrexim Bank. As part of efforts to attain self-sufficiency in food production, create jobs for youth, and to boost the cassava value chain, the National Agricultural Land Development Authority is set to establish a cassava packaging plant in Ogun State. The packaging plant would complement the integrated farm estates to be established in the 3 senatorial zones of the state. The Executive Secretary of NADA, Prince Paul Ikone, made this disclosure when he paid a courtesy visit to Ogun State Governor Dr. Dapo Abiodun. This is your digital first Pan-African news network, TS Television, and you're watching TS News 360. Just stay tuned. Welcome back, and moving on to stories across Africa. The eldest son of South Africa's late Zulu king, Goodwill Zwelithini, has been chosen as successor to the throne amid a bitter family feud. Prince Mrs. Zulu, who is 46, was named in the will of Zulu Queen Mafumbi Dlamini Zulu, his mother, who died unexpectedly last week. There were dramatic scenes as the will was read out, with some family members openly voicing their disapproval. Prince Mr. Zulu had to be led away from the meeting by armed security. Moving on to the international scene, Amnesty International has apologized to Russian opposition figure Alexei Navalny and reversed a decision to stop calling him a prisoner of conscience. The human rights organization took the decision earlier this year after concerns were raised about past comments he made. In a statement, Amnesty called for Navalny's immediate and unconditional release from prison. Navalny is President Vladimir Putin's most prominent critic. He was sent to a penal colony in February after a court ruled he had broken the terms of a suspended jail term on embezzlement charges. The 44-year-old returned to Russia in January following treatment abroad for a near-fatal nerve agent attack. At least 163 Palestinians and 6 Israeli police officers have been hurt in clashes in Jerusalem, Palestinian media and Israeli police say. Most were injured at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, where Israeli police fired rubber bullets and stone grenades as Palestinians threw stones and bottles. Tensions have been rising over the potential eviction of Palestinians from land claimed by Jewish settlers. The Red Crescent has opened a field hospital to treat the wounded. The Al-Aqsa Mosque complex in Jerusalem's Old City is one of Islam's most revered locations, but its location is also the holiest site in Judaism, known as the Temple Mount. Moving on to business, China's exports unexpectedly surged last month as Americans' speedy recovery from the pandemic spurred demand. Stalled factory production in India as the country struggles with a coronavirus crisis also helped boost the global market for Chinese goods. China's exports in dollar terms surged by more than 32% from a year earlier to almost $26.4 billion, which is 190 billion euros. In the same month, imports grew at the fastest pace in more than a decade, rising by 43% from a year ago. You're still watching TS News 360. We'll be right back with more business stories. Do stay tuned. U.S. employers hired fewer workers than expected last month, despite a huge stimulus package that saw the government send $1,400 checks to most Americans. Just 266,000 jobs were added in April, and the unemployment rate edged up to 6.1% according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It said a hiring spree among leisure and hospitality businesses was offset by declining career numbers. In all, 9.8 million remain unemployed. The South African rand has gained strongly on Friday, hitting its highest level against the dollar since January 2020, hours before Moody's was scheduled to publish a review of South Africa's credit rating. The main driver was worse than expected U.S. jobs data, which hurt the dollar read more. The non-farm payrolls missed cooled expectations that a U.S. economic recovery would lead to higher interest rates anytime soon, boosting appetite for riskier assets, including those in emerging markets. At 15:55 GMT, the rand stood at 14.0550 against the dollar, roughly 0.9% stronger on the day. Moody's was due to issue its review South Africa's sovereign rating later on Friday, but analysts, including those at Rand Merchant Bank, expected it to keep the foreign currency rating at BA2, a sub-investment grade. Now moving on to entertainment, fans recently took to social media to celebrate top singer Davido ahead of his 10th year in the industry. Twitter also released another customized emoji of the music star to mark the occasion. Davido's fans from different parts of the country commended him for being consistent and blessing them with good music for 10 years. In no time, Davido at 10 took the #1 spot on the trends table as fans dropped encouraging words for the singer to celebrate him. Pose actor MJ Rodriguez has joined Maya Rudolph-led yet untitled comedy series set at Apple. The series, which hails from Alan Yang and Matt Huber, follows Molly, a woman whose seemingly perfect life is upended after her husband leaves her with nothing but $87 billion. Apple TV Plus acquires rights to Tom Hanks' sci-fi movie Bios, renames it to Finch, According to Deadline, Rodriguez will play Sofia, the hardworking executive director of the non-profit funded by absentees billionaire boss Molly. Moving on to sports, Real Madrid's patience with Eden Hazard has reached a limit, and the Belgian is on the market as there are several other members of Zinedine Zidane's squad. Hazard's case is different, though has arrived in 2019 to be the club's next superstar. Yet injuries and other circumstances have frustrated Real Madrid and pushed the forward towards the exit door. The club listened to any offers for him. Having trailed Atletico by 13 points in January, victory on Saturday would send third-placed Barca top for the first time this term. Real, who are concerned on the same number of points as Barca, face fourth-placed Sevilla on Sunday. Zinedine Zidane's side have the advantage of a better head-to-head record against Barca and Atletico. And that is TS News 360 on your Just the First Pan-African News Network. For more updates, do visit our website www.tstvnetwork.com. Do follow and like TS Television Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Do stay with us and enjoy my programs on TS Television Network. I'm Musa. It's SLA. Thanks for watching and goodbye.
But we as a continent right now find ourselves